I got the bloodlust. Me too. I want to kill. Let's kill.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to The Bloodlust. This is your go-to podcast for classy broads talking horror since 2014. This is episode 287 of the program. Tonight we will be reviewing Good Boy.
That's a good boy.
The first horror movie with a dog as its protagonist, and we're very excited to do so. I am your fearless leader. My name is Amy, joined as always by my lovely and talented co-host Kay.
It's me.
It's here. You. Hello.
Hello.
We've been enjoying the hell out of spooky season.
Yeah.
Seeing all kinds of movies. Did we talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre last time?
I don't know. We've talked about it so many times with other people. I don't know if we said it on the podcast.
Well, listeners, we were lucky enough to go see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a cemetery, an historic cemetery, and it was wonderful.
It was. They had cute little, what's it called? Fire pits.
Yeah, they had fire pits with s'mores and stuff for people. And they had a bunch of, there's like a local hearse club that came in with like 9 hearses all lined up in a row. And some of them had like skeletons in the back and stuff. And they also showed Casper for the kiddies at 8. And then the 10:30 showing was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And listeners may or may not know that that is one of my very favorite movies of all time. So this is the first time I got to see it with a group. So it was very special to me.
So special.
So special. And when Leatherface busts out and chainsaws Franklin, both Kay and our friend who came to the movie with us jumped, and that made me really happy.
Yeah. I got spooked.
Mm-hmm. It's a great jump scare. So we should probably move right into horror homework. And I want to let you listeners know that we've basically reached the end of the classic movies that are on streaming that I put on that list for us. So we're going back and we're going to start doing rental ones.
Oh. So we're not moving forward from the 90s. We're going
going back to the 50s.
Hilarious.
But honestly, I feel like you've liked the older ones. Maybe a little bit better.
It's true. Sorry. I was giving Barbie the bone that she was trying so hard to get.
Yes. Let's get into horror homework, shall we?
Let's.
All right. We watched a couple movies from the 90s this time. The first one being Jacob's Ladder from 1990, directed by Adrian Lyne, who you might know from sexy movies like Flashdance, Indecent Proposal, and Fatal Attraction. And that's currently streaming on Canopy. Tell us about Jacob's Ladder, hun.
All right. Jacob's Ladder. So we're introduced to Jacob in 1971 when he and his fellow troops come under a sudden attack in Vietnam. He wakes up from the flashback on a subway in New York City and sees a little glimpse of a tentacle coming out of a homeless man. I say, hey baby, that's New York City for you, but he freaks out and he runs off of the subway and almost gets hit by another train.
And he also gets like stuck down there, doesn't he, for a while?
Yeah.
It's very creepy.
It's a thing that he's trying to get out of. That's true. So heart pounding, we get back to his Brooklyn apartment and we meet Jezebel, his girlfriend. We know that she's going to be bad news because Jezebel was a made-up wearing prostitute who openly worshipped other gods and was thrown out of a window and eaten by dogs.
Is that what happens to Jezebel?
That is what happens to Jezebel.
Gotta love the Bible.
Jacob is also having flashbacks of his wife and family, specifically his little boy Gabe, who passed away before the war. Jacob is trying to go to the VA and talk to his doctor about his PTSD, but there's no records of that he has ever been a patient, and his doctor has been killed in a car explosion. I guess that we'll just push that down and go to a party where he's told by a psychic that his palm says that he is already dead. He's ready to go, and he tries to find Jez, but she's a little busy at the moment, engaging in some hentai tentacle activities.
On the dance floor.
I knew she was going to be a hoe. He collapses, and Jez shoves him into a painful ice bath to get his 106 fever down. He wakes back up with his former family, including his still alive son, Gabe, But the flashbacks and shaky camera demon people are still at large. Another car explosion brings his old troupe back together for a funeral where they all agree that they're going through the same delusions. They try to file a lawsuit, but the lawyer backs out, followed by the others in his troupe. Jacob meets Michael, who is a chemist in the Army's Chemical Warfare Division, and said that his unit was secretly dosed. It all stupid. It's always the worst when I try to go back and say the little jokes that I wrote. It goes all the way to the top, is what I was supposed to say right there. There was no enemy attacking his platoon, and it was all actually infighting. In the end, we flash back to Jacob in a hospital tent in the war, being pronounced dead after his wounds from the battlefield. The whole movie was a hallucinogenic trip from drugs that the Pentagon has denied giving the boys overseas.
It's a trippy movie.
It's trippy.
I watched this when I was pretty young. Probably not when it came out, when it was on probably HBO or something. And I remembered it being a lot harder to follow than when I watched it as a grown-up.
Yeah.
What did you think of this movie?
I like all of the biblical references in it. Obviously, that's like my background. Mm-hmm. So if anyone wants to know more information about the Jacob's Ladder that comes up twice in the Bible, or how Michael is an archangel that is like supposed to be in charge of Israel itself, which is what the ladder is, bringing God and the angels to people of Bethlehem, which is Israel, whatever. It's all in there. It follows pretty, not closely, obviously, to the Bible, but there's just like so
a lot of
many
biblical references.
Yeah,
in there.
references.
I didn't get any of that.
Yeah,
none of it.
You know I like that shit.
You also like Macaulay Culkin, who is in this.
The baby.
As a very
Gabe.
young baby. Who, his dad asked that he not be credited. He's actually not listed in the credits.
Why?
Because I think by the time it came out, he was already popular for other things that were more kid-focused, and
they didn't want everyone being like, oh, it's Macaulay Culkin, let's watch this.
Yeah, I think so.
That's fair. I mean, he does act a lot in this movie. The kid doesn't have that good of a range at that age.
No, and I'll also put out there that I don't think that he had the range for The Good Son either, where he plays the villain.
Yeah.
I like that
very
movie,
cute little
but
kid.
I don't think he carried it very well. Have you seen that? You've seen that.
I don't think so.
Really? You've never seen The Good Son? It's like The Bad Seed, but with Macaulay Culkin as the bad kid.
Stop the recording. We've got things to do. It's watch that movie.
And the other little boy is Elijah Wood.
Yeah. Just two babies.
So yeah, Jacob's Ladder, very trippy. A lot of, that fast spinny head thing. They did that a ton in like music videos and stuff after this.
That's cool.
Yeah, all the practical effects in this movie were done at the time. They were all like, they didn't use a lot of tricks or anything. They used kind of old-fashioned-y kind of special effects.
How'd they do the tentacles in her vagina?
I mean,
Tell me.
I think they just had a little rubber tentacle that they were wiggling, waggling near her vagina.
Shove it in. That whore!
And also this, I forgot so much about this. Or maybe Seinfeld was not out when I watched this, because George Costanza plays their attorney.
Yeah.
And it's very funny because he's probably like 5'4", 5'5", and Tim Robbins is 6'5". Tim Robbins is Jacob in this. And whenever they have them talking together, they're either seated or they're on stairs, where George is up a couple of stairs from him, because he's at least a foot taller than him.
I mean, I feel like that's a thing that I've heard a bunch of times about like movie actors. It's better for them to be short because then they can be in the same frame as, the women counterpart or whatever. Yeah. So Jacob, he's just fucking it up, man.
He's a tall dude. This was, his performance in this was what got him the role in The Shawshank Redemption, which is probably his biggest movie.
Sure.
But I love Tim Robbins because of The Hudsucker Proxy, which is a Coen Brothers movie, which is very funny. It's very funny.
Yeah, we have different...
It's a takeoff on 40 screwball comedies, which I also enjoy, like His Girl Friday, which I've tried to get you to watch a couple times.
I'm sure you have.
One day you're going to watch it.
You just throw comedy around all willy-nilly.
We do have very different opinions of comedy. What would you rate Jacob's Ladder? Did you like how it ended?
Yeah, I loved that it was all a dream or a, hallucination. It's very interesting to me that he would put all of these different, rips into his life. Like, oh, yeah, he's hallucinating that his marriage fell apart,
right,
and now he's dating this other girl
that he used to work with.
It's just so, I don't know, when you're thinking about it as kind of a bad dream, a bad trip, it's very engaging. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think the creepiest part of this movie for me watching it the second time was when he wakes up with his wife and his kids, and it's like, he's like, oh my god, it was all a dream.
It's all a dream.
And then you realize, no, this is...
I mean, it was.
It was.
But there's more dream to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many stars out of 5?
I would give it 4.
Me
I
too.
liked it a lot.
Me too. Moving on to Cemetery Man, which I believe you liked quite a bit less. This movie came out in 1994. It was directed by Michele Soavi, who was a protege of Dario Argento. He also made a movie called Stage Fright, which I've heard is very good, but I haven't seen it yet.
Well, that sounds like the theater, and I think I would like that.
It's a giallo, so it's probably a killer at a theater company or something like that, if I know my giallo. A killer with gloves.
And you do.
This is also on Canopy. Both of these movies are available on Canopy for free. So tell us about Cemetery Man.
I do believe this is the one that you said was a horror comedy.
Yes.
I was just laughing out loud at every scene.
You didn't find any of this funny? Wow. What about his little henchman, his Igor? And his head girlfriend?
Okay, the head girlfriend was a little
Thank
funny,
you.
But just mostly it was a eye roll. What did we just watch? Okay, that's... All right. We sure did watch it.
Yeah, Kay didn't love this one.
All right, the Cemetery Man. So we've got Francisco, who is a caretaker of a small cemetery in Italy. He lives on premises with his best bud and assistant, Nagi.
That's right.
Nagi. He has his work cut out for him because 7 days after death, the returners rise again. The mayor knows that this is happening, but he's running for re-election and can't be bothered to help. Francisco falls for a young widow. When she comes back to visit her late husband, she does end up falling for the charms of the caretaker, and they start doing it on her husband's grave because obviously she doesn't keep secrets from him.
That's right.
He is a returner and bites her on the neck. Bang, bang. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. He shoots them both dead. There's a secondary plot of Nagi falling for the mayor's daughter, who dies in a motorcycle accident. And then Nagi keeps her head inside of a broken TV set. But that's not the only love.
See, that's funny.
Funny. That's not the only love that's in the air. Francisco falls left and right for women who look exactly like the first love. Each have increasingly crazy plot lines, and yeah, they all get killed. He packs his buddy in the car, and they're out of here, but they soon realize that the rest of the world doesn't exist. Nagi uses words for the first time in the movie and asks if they can just go home. Francisco says, nah. And we zoom out to see that they're in a snow globe. Okay.
Sorry, the dog keeps bumping into the table. He's frisky for some reason.
He wants pets.
He wants his butt scratched. Oh, and Barbie's boot scooting on the ground. Bus is rolling. This is very appropriate for a review of Good Boy. You did not like Cemetery
I didn't like
Man.
it.
I found it very silly and stupid, and I enjoy it.
Oh, my
I
God.
also really like Rupert Everett, who's the star of this.
There's another whole plot line. Is he impotent, or are the kids in the town just making fun of him for it? Doesn't seem like he is, because then he goes to the doctor to have him just get the whole penis removed, but they convince him, oh, we'll just give you a shot so it doesn't work for a month. I just don't even... But then the girl that he's in love with at that time ends up getting raped, and she's like, I love sex now.
That's right.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Which all strikes me as very Italian.
Is that what your people do?
It's, yeah.
Okay.
The plot was very Italian to me. Weird, like I'm obsessed with you at first glance. I'll do anything for you, including cut off my own penis. Yeah, it all seems very Italian to me. It's weird that this movie is made by an Italian guy in Italy with all British actors.
And that's the definite weirdest part of this whole movie.
And nobody makes any kind of like, oh, we live in Italy. It's like, they don't mention it.
Yeah.
They're just in what is clearly Italy.
The town almost sounds like Buffalo, so it gets like a little bit of a nod from me, but that's the only part I liked.
I think this movie's funny and silly and stupid, and I like it. What are you doing, Barb? You just playing with the door for no reason? Yeah, it does swing back and forth, doesn't it? What would you like to rate Cemetery Man? 2 stars.
That's it.
I give Cemetery Man a 3. I enjoy it. I think that Rupert Everett is very charismatic. I would have liked to have seen him in more things. I was sad he didn't get big. He came out too early, I think. People were not ready.
Get out of that closet.
So I think that hurt his career, unfortunately.
Oh, no, he really came out as gay?
Yeah, he came out of the closet in the 90s, and that hurt his career.
I thought I was just making a gay joke, but no, it's
Unfortunately,
the truth.
yeah.
Well, I still don't like it, and I still like the other one doubly as much.
Well, fair enough. I do like Jacob's Ladder better, but they're two very different movies. We did not pick thematically linked movies this time. So, like I said, we have reached the limits of the streaming things without getting into the 2000s that I have on the classic movies for Kay to watch to catch up horror homework list. So I figured, why don't we go back and get some of the ones that are cheaper rentals that I really like and want you to see. One of which, there's a poster in our bathroom of.
We've already seen Foxy Brown.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's just the same colors as the poster. I have this poster in my office, actually, at work. So we're going to be watching Village of the Damned from 1960, which is a rental, like I said, like a $3.99 rental. And it's directed by Wolf Rilla, or Wolf Rilla if you're me.
I can't believe that you pronounced it so clearly the first time. Were you in here just practicing that while I was writing my summaries?
Well, you know, I enunciate more when I'm doing the host thing. So these two movies are both science fiction horror. The other one is Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956. That movie has been remade umpteen times, but that is the first version of it. Both of these are based on novels. Both of them are science fiction. Invasion of the Body Snatchers was directed by Don Siegel, who also made Dirty Harry and Escape from Alcatraz. This is a Clint Eastwood movie. However, this is a British movie. Or no, I'm sorry, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is American. Village of the Damned is British. And Village of the Damned is about brood parasites, just like we learned about in Cuckoo.
Well, I loved that one too.
But these are alien brood parasites.
Oh, more science fiction.
No, you're going to like it.
Okay.
You're going to like it because it's about weird alien human hybrid babies.
I do like babies.
Yeah, there's very cute little kids that all have weird blonde hair and light eyes and are all born on the same day.
Ah.
And have telekinetic powers. You're going to love it.
Okay.
So 2 of my favorite older movies, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956, and Village of the Damned, 1960, will be our next 2 horror homework movies. Also, because it's October and because we've been wanting to try it, we're going to start doing some quick reviews, because we've been watching a horror movie a day this month, of movies that we've watched that are not the horror homework ones, but just other horror movies that we've watched, and we're going to do videos.
Yeah, so much content. All we do is watch videos, so now you got to listen to it.
That's right.
Listen to us talk about it. We're very fun. Watch Amy's eyebrows go way up and also way down.
They move a lot. I don't notice it. I can't see them. It's just the way it is. You'll get to see it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a treat.
You should see me read, listeners. They move constantly while I'm reading, and I'm told it's funny.
It is funny.
My ex-wife used to yell at me about it, as a matter of fact.
Well,
The less said about that, the better.
if you're out there, everyone still hates you.
Let's get into Good Boy, shall we? This movie is rated PG-13, totally appropriate to take kids to. Although it is creepy. It is not gory.
Yeah, it's creepy, but also it's pretty confusing. So it'll just go over the kids' heads.
It might.
It's fine.
It has a nice short runtime of 1 hour and 12 minutes. It was written and directed by Ben Leonberg. It is his first feature. He has only made shorts prior to this. He also edited and did cinematography for this, and it was produced by him and his wife. It stars Shane Jensen, Larry Fessenden, and Indy the dog. It premiered at South by Southwest Film Festival March 8th of this year. It was released in the US October 3rd of this year. On Rotten Tomatoes, it is 90% fresh with critics and 83% fresh with the audience. And it is still currently in theaters. Boss, you've got to stop licking. Thank you, honey.
Good boy.
Oh, he's coming. He's going to go slam his body into the desk a couple more times. This movie is about Indy. He's an adorable retriever-type dog. I think a British something retriever. I don't know. I don't know too much about fancy breeds.
Cutest tail. It was so floof.
So long and floofy. So Indy and his dad, whose name is Todd, move into Todd's grandpa's house after Todd becomes mysteriously ill. And we don't know really because Indy is who we're following. It's his point of view. So he don't know. Nobody's sitting down and saying, hey, your dad has cancer. So Todd has a mysterious illness. He wants to be away from everyone, especially his sister, who's concerned about him. How dare she?
Overbearing.
Right. So he goes and lives at his grandpa's house. His grandpa died of what we think is probably the same mysterious illness. Also, his sister thinks that the house is haunted. And Indy immediately also thinks that the house is haunted because he starts hearing weird things and seeing weird shadows and having dreams about Grandpa's dog.
Bandit.
So this movie was made in a very unique way. This was shot over 3 years. It took 400 days of shooting. And they mostly did it in their own house. And we don't really see, except for a couple of shots, any human beings' faces. It's mostly just, from the chest down, basically, because Indy is the point of view. So everything, the shots are a couple feet off the ground for most of it. We don't really leave his
vantage point
very much.
Yeah.
What did you think of Good Boy?
I really liked it. Was it because I was looking at a cute dog the whole movie? Probably.
Yes.
Probably that helped a lot. I thought that it was really confusing and hard to follow when it first started, but that grew on me in the fact that, again, maybe I'm putting more into this than it was actually supposed to be, but dog don't know. Dog don't know what's happening. Right.
It would be confusing to him.
Yeah. I felt better about it being confusing the more that I watched because it's if I was a dog, new smells, everything is new surroundings. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why, my owner is leaving me and there's no one around. I don't know why this neighbor Hunter.
What an outfit that guy had on.
I do like that they covered his face too to keep it thematic. Mm-hmm. But does anyone even wear that much when they're hunting?
Probably.
That is some real intense camo. Mm-hmm. It looked like bark on a tree, but it all kind of still moved so it would rustle in the wind. It was so ridiculous.
I guarantee that's a real thing.
Oh my God.
People don't play about that stuff.
About hunting.
Yeah.
Foxes. What did you think?
I'm not even a dog person. I'm a cat. I'm a cat person. I know that seems funny. Listeners who do not know, I am an animal rights person. I've been vegan for over 20 years. We foster dogs. I used to foster cats.
Yeah, since I moved in, I think we've fostered 9, 10 dogs, other than the 2 that we actually have in our house at all times.
So I am a big animal person. Though I prefer cats personality-wise, I think dogs are very unique in that they're like a science experiment. We made them to be loyal to us. We genetically modified this animal so that it would love us above all things. And it's such an interesting relationship because of that. And because that's the way that they are, I feel like human beings have a particular responsibility to dogs. Because they're our creations in a way, And I think that this is, you can let him back in. Ironically, we often record with our dogs in the room, and you hear them a lot. Here we go again. So I think this is a great idea. I don't think that it's perfectly executed, but I think it's really smart to make your main character someone who most people have an instinctive empathy for. Even if you don't have a dog, it's ingrained in us to have same as the way when you see children, you have more of an empathy for them than you have for an adult. I think so much of the success of horror depends on getting the audience to feel a real sense of peril and make them feel empathy with the character. And that's why children make such effective characters in horror movies. I think about the kid from The Sixth Sense and all of that unfolding through his eyes. And I think about Danny from The Shining. Those movies wouldn't be near as scary and effective as they are if those weren't kids that was happening to.
And if they explained everything right off the bat. Because, I mean, it's just inherently, you don't tell children scary things, and you don't tell your dogs what's going on because they don't know.
There's also on top of just, they're more vulnerable, there's the added they don't have control over their lives. They're at the whim of people, adults. And I think that that's why this is such a great idea. And I know that the filmmaker kind of took there's also the aspect of with your dog or your cat at home, them having better perception, better senses than we do. And your cat going just as crazy over like dust in the sunlight as someone breaking into your house. The idea of like, why are you staring into that corner? This guy took that idea and made a movie out of it, which I love. So I think the idea is great. And I think that the most interesting thing about this movie is thinking about how it was made.
Yeah.
I really like, I feel like this was a real accomplishment. And I think it's not, like I said, it's not perfectly executed. The story is pretty muddled, and is a pretty thin story. But again, Indy has a very limited understanding of what's going on. So I think
he doesn't know that he's in a movie.
Yeah. I think that they did a fine job giving us enough. And I think that if they had done more to explain things that were happening, it might have been a little weird.
And cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure we're going to get to it eventually to go into it, but I loved the behind the scenes at the end of the credits. Oh my God.
Yeah, listeners, if you haven't seen this yet and you see it in the theater, make sure you wait till the end of the credits, which are short, by the way, because I think this was a pretty small production. Because there's a little after credits sequence that has the director and Indy, and he is explaining and showing you examples of how they got reactions out of Indy, which is really cute. And I really I've read a couple of articles, interviews with this director talking about the experience of making this and stuff, and I just really think it's adorable.
I want all of the footage, the raw footage. Forget the actual movie. I want to see...
With all the duck noises and the squeaking and the whistling. Yeah. Sorry, you can also hear Barbie chewing on a toy in here, but it is kind of appropriate, right?
It's thematic, for sure.
I love the height of the camera in most of the shots. It's a creepy POV, I think especially because it kind of takes you back to being little. I think that aspect of Skinamarink worked really well, and I think it works well here.
I think it's also very functionally appropriate because we saw the behind the scenes. They are making crazy noises to get that dog's attention. So any of the dialogue had to be added post.
All of it was, yeah.
There's zero chance that they could do a clean cut.
Oh, no.
So not showing any of the faces, great. You don't have to sync up with shit.
Right.
Just put it in.
Yeah, so the director is the one that you're actually seeing in most of the shots. But then a voice actor did the dialogue for Todd. I think the lighting could have used some work. It might have also been the theater we were in.
It was so dark.
There were a few scenes, and I know that, like, he can see stuff we can't. But there were a few scenes where I couldn't tell what I was supposed to be looking at at all. But that might have been the theater we were in. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people praising the cinematography in this. And for me, I liked the camera work, but the lighting was a little bit rough for me.
Was it rough? Was it?
I was really excited to see the guy who played the grandpa in this. The only person you really see his face because he's on video is an actor named Larry Fessenden, who's also an indie filmmaker who's made a good amount of low-budget horror movies himself. And he seems to be really involved with up-and-coming horror directors.
That's sweet.
Anytime you see like a low-budget movie by some scrappy indie upstart, Larry Fessenden is in it. And I like, it's always nice to see him. It always makes me happy to know that he's still trying to lift up other small filmmakers. Even though, honestly, I've seen several of his movies and haven't liked any of them. I still really like him.
Baby, don't punch down.
And him being, you're right. He's always popping up in interesting stuff. And I bless him for lifting up other horror creatives. Do you feel like this was made during COVID? It feels like this was made during COVID. Like a couple who's like, we ain't got shit to do. Let's start. I bet you it was.
I'm sure it was. I mean, what a great idea.
There's also a lot of isolation thematically in this movie.
Right.
With Indy and with Todd. And with the grandpa. I think COVID had to have kind of seeped into this.
There was only, 4 human characters at all. Their sister, Hunter, Grandpa, and Todd. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is most impressive for the accomplishment of getting that performance from him and using a unique character for a point of view.
That was such a good boy.
And the performance is wonderful. Like, they do a great job. Dogs are very expressive in the face. We've talked about since we watched this yesterday about how our dog Boss would be an amazing actor because he has the most expressive eyebrows I've ever seen on a dog. I guess he is my dog in that way.
Yeah. We'll do a side-by-side.
The after credit sequence kind of showing us how they did it reminded me a little bit of something we talked about a couple months ago, the after credit sequence in The Bad Seed, when they have to like bring the kid on and be like, look, it was just a movie. We did not traumatize this child.
That dog's still happy. That dog never knew he was in a movie.
Right.
He never knew he was in a movie.
And that's the implication too with the Bad Seed after credit sequence is like, this child is not traumatized. She was not aware she was in a horror movie as such, you know. So I thought that was cute. When we talked about the after credit sequence in The Bad Seed, I think that they did it because at that time there weren't a bunch of like little kids being evil movies, so it was a surprise and kind of unusual for the audience to see that, so they wanted to kind of allay their unease with it. And I think that's the same with this movie because there hasn't been another movie like this. And I also think it's very funny that there was this huge surge when the first trailer for this came out of people searching for, does the dog die in Good Boy? It just shows how effective it is to make a horror movie with the dog as the main character.
Yeah. R.I.P. Bandit, though.
I know.
Poor buddy.
Grandpa's pup was not so lucky. And we'll talk about that at the ending, because I was wondering some stuff about that. I really loved, my favorite shot from this, or my favorite sequence, is when Todd goes, I think he goes to the doctor or something, but he's gone all day.
Right.
And he leaves, and Indy goes and sits in the window, and they show him from outside, and they show a quick cut from day to night with him in the same position. And I think that was so effective and so heartbreaking.
And then Todd comes home, doesn't even let him outside, doesn't give him dinner, just goes right to bed. I mean, he did get some bad news, but still.
Still. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've never had such a bad day that I've neglected my dogs. Never.
That's right.
But the thing about this, too, is that it is very suspenseful, but honestly, it's more sad than it is scary.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was surprisingly abrupt when it ended. It didn't feel super long. I didn't really understand what was happening most of the time. I still, like I said when we first left the theater, couldn't spoil it if I tried, because I still am not really sure what happened.
We'll talk about it a little bit.
Thanks.
But I'm not sure either. I'm not sure either. So I recommend this. I recommend it in the theater. I think that a unique production like this, which is obviously a labor of love from this family, I think it deserves your money.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that this would be a totally appropriate movie to take a teen to.
Give him your money. Go watch a dog for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I give this a 4.
I'm probably gonna go 3.5 just because I don't really know what happened. But,
That's fair.
I did enjoy it.
I will say that it could have been a short. I wouldn't have been able to go see it in a theater, though, so I'm glad that they stretched it out to barely a feature film. But it could have been a short, for sure. And it reminds me, too, if you want to see another movie that does this, they did a straight, there was a segment in one of the VHS movies, I think the second VHS 2, that has a sequence or a short where they do a GoPro camera on their dog, and aliens come and invade, and it's all from the dog's POV. And I love that. It's one of my favorite VHS shorts. Although the dog does not fare as well as Indy does.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately. But it's really good. So if you like stuff like this is the only other thing I could think of that kind of does it in the same way. I would also like to point out that I feel like there are a couple of instances in this movie where we kind of leave Indy's point of view, and I didn't think that those instances worked. There were a couple of sequences where, somebody comes up behind Indy or something, and then we don't see what happens, and then we come back to him. And I didn't like that. I think we should have been from his point of view the whole time. But other than that...
I must have not even clocked him, because I don't know what you're talking about, so...
But other than that, I think this was very, very good, and such a great idea. So let's talk about what we think happened. Spoiler time. So the owner was sick when the movie started, right? So it wasn't the house that made him sick. But his grandpa seemed to have the same disease, so it probably ran in the family.
But it went so quickly. He wasn't coughing at the beginning. And then all of a sudden...
but you didn't see the very beginning, though.
Oh, that's true.
So at the very beginning of the movie, Indy is in a room with his dad, and his dad has, like, blood running down his face.
Okay.
So it had been happening, and then he goes to the house.
Okay.
So it wasn't the house that made him sick, so what's going on in the house? What is the muddy creature that comes? Is it tied to the basement? The ghost of the dog is also there.
Right.
Grandpa's dog.
But not always, because the ghost takes him up to the bandana. The ghost of the dog takes him up to the bandana that's underneath the cabinet in the bedroom.
And then Indy gets has a little flash of seeing like violence happen and the bandana being bloody. But then later, when he's in the basement, which has been kind of the focal point where he hasn't been allowed to go, and then he's finally able to go down the basement, he sees Bandit's skeleton there. And it looked like he starved to death, like he was trying to get out, and then he just laid down and died.
Right. But I guess the grandpa did die in the house.
He did.
So maybe the dog passed away after grandpa died.
So there was no violence done to the dog. So what was the bloody bandana? Just Indy's idea of what might have happened?
Well, also, they're both coughing up a ridiculous amount of blood.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I wasn't sure if... So at the end, Todd is really fucked up and doing badly.
Yeah.
And he seems to be, I guess, taken away by this entity in the basement, right?
That goes from mud person to like kind of ghost to skeleton. What is
right,
it?
I don't know. But it's something that's black and slimy.
Yeah.
And it seems to kind of envelop him, possibly separate from this disease. It's just a coincidence. Because they say that the house is haunted. No one's lived there for more than a few weeks except Grandpa.
Right.
And then at the end of the movie, it takes Todd away, and as presumably it had done... Okay.
Is it all coming to you? Are you putting the pieces together?
Well, we see in a sequence that I thought was pretty cool, Todd is laying on the bed, and then Indy comes in, and Todd is like petting him.
Right.
And then he looks back and sees his dead body on the bed. So Todd has died and is a ghost. And then the slime creature or whatever takes his soul away.
Sure.
So I wonder if the same thing had happened with Grandpa and Bandit stayed waiting for Grandpa to come back, and that's how he died. Whereas Indy made
His
that
sister.
choice.
Yeah.
Because it seemed it was kind of moving at the end.
When he wasn't going up the stairs, but then after, a minute, he goes to sister.
Right.
Auntie. Yeah. I'm glad that the dog made it out. Sorry that Todd died.
They also show claw marks at that door, so maybe Todd tried to get out, and maybe I'm just reading too much into it.
Todd tried to?
I mean, not Todd, Bandit.
Oh.
I was thinking of Todd because Lee's dog is named Todd.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish that the neighbor Hunter gave us at least more information on the couple of people that stayed for a couple of weeks so that we could see, did they just get scared away and they left, or did this entity take them as well? Because then that would help with, was it the sickness or the entity that's killing people? But obviously he's not going to sit down and talk to Indy about it.
Right, and that's the thing. There's limitations to what you can learn. Unfortunately. Which is why the movie's 1 hour and 12 minutes long.
Yeah. I liked the puppy dream sequences.
Oh my god, so cute.
It reminded me of our dogs when they're sleeping and their little feet are going.
Yeah.
Because originally I was like, do dogs dream? And then I was like, of course dogs dream.
Sure.
I've seen it.
They've even put dreaming dogs in MRI machines to see what's going on in there.
I don't like to think that dogs can have nightmares. I want to think that their dreams are happy and fun.
It probably depends on what their life is like.
Okay. Way to bring it down, babe.
I would like to see more movies with dogs. I would like to see more movies like this. Only if they're made exactly the same way this one was made. Because generally I'm not a fan of using animals in movies. This is kind of a different thing. I like movies like Wendy and Lucy, where Kelly Reichardt, I don't know how to say her last name, Reichardt? I think it's Reichardt, used her own dog, stuff like that. I like that.
Well, I like Air Bud. Nowhere in the rules does it say that dogs can't play basketball, so freaking let Air Bud play.
Let him play.
Yeah.
So that's what we think about Good Boy. And listeners, P.S., I'm sorry we didn't tell you at the end of the last episode what we were watching. I can't believe I forgot. I apologize. I mean, it was on the post, but in case you don't look at that.
Half of a beer before we recorded the last one, and woof.
Yeah. Dick Woof.
Dick woof.
So I'm still reading The Ceremonies by T.E.D. Klein. I'm really liking it. I haven't had that much time to read, unfortunately, and it's all I want to do is just read. All I want to do. But I have like 50 pages left, so I'm going to be done soon. Also, there's this great little bookstore by me. If you're in the Detroit, Oak Park, Madison Heights, Southfield area of Michigan, go to Toad Vine Books. It's great. And they just got a bunch of Valancourt Press books. Valancourt Press re-released a bunch of paperbacks from the 70s and 80s that went out of print, including a bunch of books by Michael McDowell, who's one of my favorite horror authors. He wrote Blackwater, which is this really long serialized saga of this family in the South, and The Elementals, which is a short novel, which I find really scary. And I just got, 2 more books by him? Yeah, 2 more books by him, and I'm very excited about that. And I also got this book called Let's Go Play at the Adams, which is a classic Bad Kids book from the 80s. So I'm excited to read those. What have you been reading?
All right. I dipped my little baby toe into some weird sci-fi shit.
Oh, really?
I know. It's more like... It's definitely cannot happen in real life. So, thus it is sci-fi? I don't know. Is that
Tell me what it's about.
Okay, so it's called Reverie. And it's like all of these people around the town kind of have these joint visions that are happening, and everyone else in the town doesn't know that they're happening. But if you break outside of, what's happening, then it could cause a shift, and then people get angry, and then some people get killed. So you've got this core group of 4 people that can, make it come to a conclusion and have it stop so that you can go back to normal life.
So the visions, they have to make sure that things happen exactly as they do in the visions, or else bad things happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's sci-fi or just fantasy.
Fantasy.
Usually sci-fi, I think of aliens are always sci-fi.
There's definitely no aliens, but it's more like
technology stuff that we don't normally have.
It's more witchy and
fantasy then, I'd guess.
Fantasy, and there's totems that you can get that can make you more powerful, but they all have special powers, which is...
that sounds like fantasy to me.
Well,
anyways,
are you
liking it?
I did enjoy it. I think I'll stick to my real stories that could really happen of murder and shit like that. But again, it's that same Ryan LaSala, so I was just all right, let's give this a chance.
And queer characters,
and
yes.
queer characters. So.
Which we enjoy.
Yeah. Good, not great.
Good, not great.
But if you like fantasy, probably great. It's got a 4.8 on Goodreads.
What was the title of that one again?
Revere.
Reverie. Okay. Sounds decent. Although not your bag.
Not my bag.
Well, I think you're doing the right thing, though, finding authors you like and
I'm trying it out.
Because you're also going to find maybe different subgenres that you end up not realizing you liked.
Yeah.
Because I never really thought that I was much of a sci-fi person, but there's a lot of sci-fi stories I really enjoy. Like the 2 movies we're going to watch for Horror Homework are both sci-fi, and I really like them.
Yeah, I'll report back, in 2 weeks if I like them or not. You'll be able to tell by how sassy my plot summary is.
Right. Kay actually told someone recently that The Bad Seed is their favorite horror movie, and that made my heart so warm and happy.
Yeah.
My heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Okay, Grinch.
So, listeners, for our next movie.
Congratulations,
I remembered. We are going back to the theater. I know we don't usually do a bunch of theater movies in a row, but it is October, so a lot of stuff is coming out right now, and I wanted to make sure that we caught them, so we didn't have to wait till they came onto streaming. So this movie is called Shelby Oaks. It is made by a guy who's primarily a film critic named Chris Stuckman, who is from, I think he's from the Akron, Ohio area, which is where I am also from. So I thought this would be an interesting one to do. And it's the biggest Kickstarter and the most quickly funded horror movie Kickstarter that has happened. I don't know too much about critically wise what people are saying about it yet, but it's opening in theaters October 24th, and we do hope that you go see it. I know that it's at least partially found footage. So we hope that you go see it and join us back in a couple weeks to discuss it.
And Wicked's almost out here.
Yeah, what is that, November 2nd or something?
No, it's like the 18th. It's
okay.
Middle of the month.
Middle of the month. There's going to be another Oz Perkins movie coming out in the middle of November as well. Dude just cannot stop putting out movies, man.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah.
This is like his 3rd in a year and a half. Crazy. So that one I'm sure we'll do, because I'm a fan of his, even though his movies have been pretty uneven. I still like them. So listeners, have you reviewed our podcast yet? You have so many ways to do so. You can do it on YouTube now. You can leave comments on YouTube, or you can go on Google Podcasts or whatever, Amazon Podcasts, whatever they're called, or Spotify or whatever.
Wherever you get your goddamn podcast from.
Yeah, please leave us a review and a rating if you haven't already, and share this podcast with a horror-loving person in your life, someone who asks you for recommendations, because we have hundreds of recommendations for you. If you want to get in touch with us, you may do so at thebloodlust.net. That's our website. You can leave comments on there or click the Contact Us button. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram and Threads. And you can email us at thebloodlustpodcast@gmail.com.
And keep your eyes peeled for our YouTube videos. Whatever. Yeah. Follow the YouTube so you get a noti when we put them up.
What Kay said. Kay, thank you for joining me. That is a weird frozen smile on your face.
I'm trying to think of the Shelby quote. I can't.
Eat your green, Shelby?
Yeah, that it is. There it is.
It's drink your juice, Shelby.
Drink your juice. There it is. Thanks, babe.
Eat your green, Shelby is the dish at the gay bar by us. The salad. The only thing I can eat at the gay bar by us. Eat your green, Shelby.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway, thank you for listening.
We've digressed again. Oh, God.
Hope you're having a lovely, spooky season. Until next time, this has been episode 287. I have been Amy.
And I'm Kay.
Thank you. Good night.
Hail Satan.
Very good.
But not tempeh. God.
No, fuck tempeh.
It's so bad. How do people even like it?
There's a way. There's a way to make it good, and I just haven't found it.
You know what? There's not a will. I'm not doing it.